Hey, what's good, beautiful people? Welcome to my channel. My name is Shella, or you can call me your lawyer bestie. And I'm an admitted attorney of the High Court of South Africa who is super passionate about non-traditional legal careers. And the reason is that I went to practice thinking that it's the only thing that I could do with my law degree, and I was far from the truth. So I have started this series to profile people who have their law degrees and are not in practice. They're in different spheres that are not the traditional route. And in today's video, we have Naledi. I am so happy to have her on my channel. I am excited for you guys to get her insights on her journey to being a company secretary. Now, she got into the bank with just a BCom law degree. She did an LLB degree while she was working at the bank. And she's about to start doing her articles of clerkship while still working at the bank. This is a conversation that you don't want to miss. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Drop down to the comment section and leave a comment or a question for Naledi or myself, and we'll get back to you. Subscribe to the channel so the family can grow, and share this episode with somebody who you know could use this information. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Naledi, thank you so much for joining my conversation, coming to my channel. I am so excited to have you. Please introduce yourself to my subscribers.
Hi, Shella. I am equally excited to be part of this series, and thank you for inviting me. My name is Naledi Nakin, and I'm a company secretary. I currently work in a financial institution. And yeah, I am excited to share my journey, what I've been through, how I got here, to hopefully just aid legal graduates to find their path.
Yes, I love that. Absolutely love that. So when you wake up in the morning and you go be a company secretary, what is it that a company secretary does on a daily basis?
Yo, a million things, but I'll try to just summarize it up.
To sum it up, yeah.
Yeah, I'll sum it up. Yeah, so basically a company secretary, and I'll be honest, I also didn't know what a company secretary is when I first started my first job. So this has taken a good +5 years of learning what this title is all about, you know, and what this role is all about. Yeah, so in my learning, I mean, basically what a company secretary does is we deal primarily with compliance with legal requirements for a company, an entity. So if you think of any entity that has a board of directors, that has shareholders, there needs to be a company secretary there, because that person is the bridge between the board of directors and management. So in terms of when the board members meet, what reports they read, the decisions that they take, how those decisions are being recorded, all of that needs to be done by a company secretary. So we almost deal with compliance in terms of the Companies Act, because obviously an entity is being governed by a Companies Act. And if you're dealing with an insurance company, it also will be governed by your Insurance Act. So it differs on the type of company that you are managing, and then obviously then the scope of the governance requirements will widen. We also do board meeting administration end to end, so preparation of agendas with the chairman. We do the scheduling of meetings. We compile the board packs, reports from your compliance officers, your legal officers, your chief financial officer, your CEO, all those reports that need to be presented to the board. They would send those reports to the company secretary. Company secretary compiles all of that and sends it, does a quality check and sends it over to the board ahead of the meeting. We also, a daunting part of the role is minute taking. We also do minute taking, which is one of the not so fun things about my role, but I do it anyway. And we also facilitate annual general meetings for these companies we conduct board evaluations at the end of each year, where the board will assess each other to see if they are performing at, the capacity that they should be performing at, and board evaluations of the board as a whole. And then we also do board induction sessions for new directors. So that's just board administration. And there's a whole lot more to that than what I've just said. We also deal with the recording of company records. So when you think of when a company is established, the birth of a company, it needs to be established with a memorandum of incorporation.
Yes.
The drafting of that memorandum of incorporation, it's the company secretary. The review of it on an annual basis, company secretary. Stuff like your board charters, which deal with the roles and responsibilities of the directors, their fiduciary duties. The review of that is done by the company secretary, moves to the board, and they review and approve. So everything that we do always leads up to the board of directors. Compliance, board administration, the company records, we keep hold of your share certificates, like I said, the MOI, the certificates of incorporation, all the documents that are required to be, recorded are kept by the company secretary. So I think that's just, to sum it up, what it is really all about.
That you do. Yeah, as you were mentioning the various things that you do as a company secretary, I could hear like a lot of things that I was doing in practice. So would you say that to be a company secretary, you would need legal background?
You do, absolutely. Absolutely. I do know that there's a split where some people do, take the legal background, the legal route, and then, they fall into the COSEC. Other ones don't take the legal route, but they do the qualifications, or corporate governance and administration qualifications. There are short courses, programs. You can do it at WITS. You can do it through the Chartered Governance Institute of Southern Africa. So other people literally just go straight cut into the corporate governance qualification, and others, I could say that the legal background also helps a lot. When we studied law, just being close to legislation, cases, all the reading, all the writing, that definitely just gives you a big step, in terms of excelling in your role as a company secretary. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm also learning a lot because, I was a little bit confused about like where does, the legal background get into company secretary. But now that you explain the roles, it makes sense. So now I want you to take us through. Yeah, I want us to, I'd like you to take us through your journey. So from getting your LLB degree, and I also know that you did not actually want to study law. I remember you saying that you were in for medicine. I remember. But like just take us through you studying law and then getting to where you are. While you were a student, did you know that you wanted to get into these streams? Third year and fourth year, when we were all feeling pressure to get articles, what was happening to you?
Tough journey, guys. Tough journey. No, you're right. I landed into law and then I fell in love with it. But initially, it was never part of my plan. I wanted to go medicine route, but eventually I studied Bachelor of Commerce in Law. And as I was studying this BCom law, I thought to myself, man, I like this. I want to be an admitted attorney. I want to be in court also. I fell in love with it just by studying it. And so I knew immediately after BCom law, I'm pursuing my LLB. And after my LLB, I'm pursuing my articles. And after that, I am going to be an admitted attorney. But life didn't play out that way, because we plan, but things never work out the way that you want them to work out. So when I graduated my BCom law, there were some funding issues, so I couldn't go and pursue my LLB immediately after, So then I went back home, and then I was unemployed, I think for about 6 months. But I kept on applying for literally anything, that could take anyone with a BCom law degree. And then I got an opportunity at the bank. They were offering internship opportunities. And basically, based on your qualification, you would be plugged into the different functions. So you could either go into compliance or the legal department, or you could go in the company secretariat function. So that's where I landed. And I had a contract for 12 months. So I decided, you know what, I'm a big learner. Like I love learning. And I said, this is a big opportunity. I'm going for it. And I just learned through the process, I started understanding what it's about. I spoke to people, my seniors at the time. And I realized this is something I can actually grow into, And I think it was at that point in time where I said, I still want to pursue my LLB, but maybe I may pause the admission part and the articles part, At the time, I'm getting a monthly salary, leaving my monthly salary and going to do my articles when there's this opportunity that could potentially give me a permanent contract at the end. I was like, no.
No.
So yeah. No. And these people, when I then got my permanent and I was starting to talk to them about, what, I'd love to study further, do my LLB. These people are saying, we can, we here to help you if you want to pursue your studies. We can also meet you in terms of the finances, So they were paying for my studies. I studied my LLB part-time. And then I graduated after that while I was working as well. So that for me was also quite a big achievement. Yeah. So I completed my LLB. Then, and at that point, because the progression and just the evolution of my role and my career was going, article was like on pause, it was like on standby.
So,
yeah.
Sorry, can I just get in a bit here? So you were working in the financial institution with your BCom law degree in a graduate program. So what were you doing while you were pursuing your LLB? Because graduate programs, they don't last that long. Or like, how did it work for you? While you were doing your LLB degree, what is it that you were doing in the financial institution?
Let me clarify. Yeah. So, I had the 12 months contract. At the time, I wasn't studying. And then after my 12 months contract, they absorbed me into the system and then I was permanent, and I think only about a year later, then I, started having the conversations about studying further and doing my LLB. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So at that time, what was your role in the bank? Because you're not a graduate trainee anymore.
Sorry.
What were you doing?
Yeah. Now I get your question. Yes. Yeah. So, at the time, I started as an intern at first. And then when I got permanent, I became an assistant company secretary. So I was assisting the senior company secretary at the time, And so I would help them with any meeting administration, drafting agendas, drafting minutes, and just making sure that her work is a whole lot easier and it's a smoother, role by just covering the small little items. And that's when I actually realized how important it is to embrace the beginning of everything. Like, you're not going to step into a role and be the big shot, So you embrace the beginning, you embrace the learning, you go through the process of mastering what you actually want to be and excelling at that, So I was assistant company secretary at the time. Then as time went by, I got a promotion to company secretary. And then I left that bank and I went to another bank for about a year where I was a secretarial specialist. And then I returned back to the same bank again as a senior company secretary. And that's where I am now. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to clarify on you being an assistant to the company secretary and you doing your LLB degree. So you were
Yeah.
an assistant before you got your LLB degree.
Yes.
So would you say that BCom law graduates can land in similar positions like being an assistant company secretary?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay.
There are people that have BCom laws with no LLB, but they've progressed through that role. You know what I mean? Others have they BCom law, but then decided maybe let me do the corporate governance short courses and corporate governance programs, through the universities just to upskill myself. Others have just decided I don't want to pursue articles. I don't want to be an admitted attorney anymore. This is where I want to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. So definitely
Okay.
with a BCom law, you can still progress in the role. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. I get you. Because now I see that that stress and pressure that we who did LLB degrees full time, when we get to third year, you probably didn't feel it as much as we did because you didn't want to do articles anyway, And for
I
us who are,
didn't.
doing
Yeah.
LLB, yes, those of us who are doing LLB full time, you have your career fairs. It's just attorneys who are coming through, and you're wondering, if I don't have articles by
Mm,
the end of fourth year, I am doomed. So I
it's
understand that when
over.
you were doing your
Yeah.
LLB degree, you were already working. So
Exactly. I was
now,
working.
yeah. So now I want you to touch on being able to do your articles while at the bank. I get a lot of comments, people saying, I really want to do articles, but I don't want to leave my job. And I
Yeah.
too, for the longest of time until I spoke to you,
Mm,
thought that you can only do articles like full time in a law firm. It's that or nothing.
yeah.
So please just
Yeah.
let the viewers know how a person can do articles while they're in the financial sector.
Yeah. So, that's it's actually an emotional conversation, eh? Because sometimes
Ooh.
people actually are in a position where you really want to go do your articles. But you think if I leave my current job now with whatever expenses that I have, and you think of how a
Mm,
law firm, just the minimum salary is, you back down on your dream. Like
mm,
that's exactly what happens for people. So for me, I think for the most part, that's where I was. I was like, let me push, where I am, the role I'm in, and excel in it, And as I started to see myself evolve, the idea of admission also started to decrease as well until I found that the bank was offering an opportunity. Apparently, a lot of companies are starting to offer this opportunity now where you almost are still in the same role, but are seconded to go and do your articles with a law firm. And then you come back to the bank again once you've completed your articles. And you come and service back to the bank. So when I found out
okay.
about this program, I was like, at the time when I found out about it, I hadn't done my PLTs. So I realized I still have a bit more time as opposed to going to do my articles for 2 years. Let me do my PLTs for 6 months. And then it's an easier conversation to have as well with, my manager to say, I'd love to do this and I'll only be gone for 1 year and not two. It becomes a more difficult
Mm,
conversation.
mm.
So while I was still working, then I enrolled for my PLTs. I studied that. I passed. I wrote my 2 board exams now in August. And literally, I'm going to do my articles next year. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Going to do my
Please
articles
just,
next year.
yeah, yeah. So I want to
Sorry, I
know,
thought you were coming in. Yeah.
program, with this program, do you go to a law firm and work there for a year, meaning you will not be doing anything relating to being a company secretary? You will be an
Nothing.
article clerk, earning an article clerk salary.
So I will be going to work for the firm. I won't be touching any company secretariat work at all.
Okay.
And I will be earning my salary that I earn as a company secretary, because that's the arrangement that the bank has with the law firm.
If only we knew, most of us would be doing our articles that way. Oh,
I
wow. Okay,
know.
so
Brilliant
I'm guessing.
opportunity. Yeah,
Yes,
brilliant
yes.
opportunity. Like, if I
Mm.
promise you, if it wasn't for this, I probably wouldn't pursue my articles, you know.
Your articles,
And I remember
yes.
the one evening during our PLTs, we had like a huge conversation with lecturers about just that, and how, law firms are underpaying, and how companies
Yes.
should really be coming in to help, because there's a big situation here where either we're not getting articles, or the salary is just not enough to get by. So it's an amazing opportunity that hopefully other companies start to do as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, yeah, no, that's really, really cool. So, whoa, when I just think about my experience, I'm doing articles and many other people. I mean, something like this is, we could never even imagine that anything like this could be happening. So that's like really amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it's selected law firms. It's not every law firm, that the bank
Yeah,
gets
it's
to
not
work
every
with.
law firm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Nah, that one
Yeah.
that one blew my mind away. I had no idea. Um yeah, I literally had no idea. So right now, I'd like you to advise somebody who wants to get into the financial space. Just let them know what are the certain like routes that they can use to get in. Is it only graduate program, or can you get in another way? Yeah, just basically that.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell from my experience, the graduate opportunities that they offer are just amazing. I do know that they also do a very nice rotation where you can work in a specific space for a period of time, then you can move to the other space for a period of time, just to learn and almost figure out what interests you. So I really, I go for graduate opportunities. If you see it, apply for it. And don't be, don't be scared that it's a graduate opportunity starting from the bottom. No, the mentality that we have to carry, like I said, is that of a beginner mindset. That's how you can actually
Yes.
step up and evolve as a person. So graduate opportunities, most certainly. And once you're inside the bank, you can also do your own research to figure out what is it that's there. Because there's a lot of things, guys. There's a lot. Even, say, for example, as an admitted attorney, you feel a practice is not for me. I'd rather be in corporate. There's the legal department for that. They deal with mergers and acquisitions, corporate transactions, drafting contracts, stuff that can really be a selling point to people that do not want to be in practice but still want to be in the legal fraternity. So there's many
Yeah.
options that we don't know about, that I also didn't know about. I only knew about it as soon as I got into the bank and I started researching and starting to talk to people. Yeah.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
would be my advice. But I think in terms of just soft skills for a company secretary, communication skills is such a big thing, written and verbal, because you engage with a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders, you do a lot of writing. So when you just literally do not have anything to do, it's always important to go on stuff like YouTube and find people that talk about how to talk in general, like how to draft an email,
Yes.
how to engage, in a professional manner. Those are things that you won't get taught. No one's going to teach you that. It's stuff that you learn on the job, but also you have to take the step and research as well.
Yeah. And with getting in with a graduate program, also when you get in, you get to see the different departments, you get to see what everyone else is doing,
Mm,
and it's from there that you can
yeah.
see that, you know what, maybe I like this, maybe I want to go a different route.
Mm,
Because I find it
yeah.
kind of redundant when somebody asks a question like, what is it that I can do with maybe a particular degree? We can lead you to, you know, things that we know, but once you get into certain spaces, there are certain things that we also didn't even know existed. You too, you had no
Yeah.
idea existed. You know, you get into those
Absolutely.
spaces and you see what everybody else is doing, and you're like, I'm actually interested in this. I'm actually gonna pursue
Yeah.
this. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's very
And
interesting.
you know what, and some things will not speak to you, like some people just, COSEC will just never speak to them, because as soon as you think COSEC, you think, oh, administration, yo, minute
Mm.
taking, you know. I think there's a lot about this role that has also been perceived as a secretary, and it's not, like, it's actually bigger than a secretary, you know. And I actually wish
Yes.
they could do a rebrand of the actual name, because that's what people associate it with, you know, whereas it's
Yes.
actually bigger
Yes.
than that. So some people it
Yeah.
doesn't speak to them, you know. So
Mm.
it's something where you just have to learn and figure out, am I into this, am I not? And if you're not, you move on to the next thing. You need to, in life, you need to constantly look for what will serve you, you know. And some
Yes.
of these roles
Yeah.
won't, and some won't. Yeah.
Yeah, no, a company secretary needs to be rebranded, because I too, when you were you know, listing the many things that you do, I was like, oh, really?
What?
You know, because I literally just took it as like a general secretarial role, but like for a big institution.
Mm,
That's how I took it. But you
yeah,
know, you shed some light on that.
yeah,
Thank you so much for
yeah. And
that.
you know,
And then
another
now let's.
aspect is,
Mhm.
sorry, I just wanted to add that another aspect is that a lot of companies now actually merge the legal department and the company secretariat department. So you could find that the company secretary is also the head of legal, because of how intertwined these roles are. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was
Yes.
also a
Okay.
nice
Yeah, no, it makes
observation
sense.
that I saw. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, so now I want to talk about the money. You know, for somebody who is starting out and they want to hop into this space, what's like the starting amount for, you know, somebody who just hopped in?
Yeah. No, from my experience, the number that I'll give now, it's most likely that it has also increased because of your inflation and so forth. But when I started, as I walked in as an intern, it was 10,000 per month. Yeah,
Okay.
it
Okay.
was 10,000 per
And that's
month.
actually, and 10,000, I mean, it's way, you know, bigger than, you know, the amount that people get for articles. And, you know, as somebody
Yeah,
who is starting out, you know, yeah.
yeah.
So,
Fresh
okay,
from
yeah.
university, no experience.
No
You have no
experience.
idea what you're doing. Literally, they're saying, here's the salary, come learn. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Because, yeah, that was a question that I got from, you know, the comment section, that please ask about the salary, you know, so that we have an idea, you know, what's happening there, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
just to close off, I just want you to touch on the work ethic required to excel in your space, right? I want you to touch on the work ethic. And I also want you to touch on additional certifications besides the LLB. So, you know, talk to
yeah.
somebody who just has, let's say, a BCom degree or an LLB degree. What additional
Mm.
certifications can be done? Yeah, and then just touch on the work ethic that would make somebody excel in your role.
You need a very strong work ethic, let me tell you. And that's just primarily based on the number of engagements that you have, and just the number of things that you have to do as a company secretary, you know. Like I said in the beginning, because you like the bridge between the board and management, the engagements are all round. So you're engaging with very senior stakeholders. You know, like I said, communication skills are very important in that aspect. But there's it's a high pressure environment. So you need to also put in a lot of work and effort. This means more extra time, you know, more research, more engagement. So you need a very strong work ethic, and you need to be able to work in a very tough and pressurized environment as well. And just engagement, you know, communication skills, verbal skills. There's a lot of writing that we do, like I said, minute writing, but also reporting, corporate governance reporting that we also do. So a lot of the business writing skills is imperative. So it's one of the things that people can do watching on YouTube, etc. And in terms of certifications, like when you have a BCom law alone, you can, you know, go through these courses, check out the courses, corporate governance courses. I think every university offers them. Corporate governance courses and administration, those are the type of things that you would want to get in. Yeah. And there's a qualification, CCSA, that is offered by the CGISA. So that's the Chartered Governance Institute of South Africa.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, you touched on, you know, the work ethic, also touching on the, the work ethic, as well as the additional qualifications that a person can, get in order to excel in that role. So with the qualifications, is it something that you can do? Let's say somebody is unemployed and they're still at home. Can they get into these qualifications before actually hopping into the banks?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess the best advice is, if, you know, there's an interest, go on the side of the Chartered Governance Institute of South Africa, and you'll see the list of programs that they offer.
Okay, perfect. So now to close off, is there something that you want to say to someone who was probably in your shoes, who wanted to pursue something, maybe because of funding, they couldn't go ahead with their LLB, or some other obstacle that, a law graduate is facing? Like, do you have anything to, just tell them?
Yeah. My biggest advice is we dream and we plan, but our plans may not align with, whoever you believe in, the plan of that person, right?
Yeah.
I believe in God. So my plan, even though I had it down, I wrote it down, and I believe so much that it's going to happen in that way. It was not aligned to his plan, So the biggest realization is that it's you have to allow the universe to align for you, but also meet it halfway. If you get an opportunity in COSEC like I did, meet it halfway, go for it, learn, get into it and see what could potentially come out of it, and I think patience, I think law graduates, we need patience, because not everything comes down the way we think it will come down. And we are brainwashed by watching Suits and all these other things that we see in the movies and TV, and we think this is how it is. No, it is far from that, So I think we need a lot of patience as well, and hard work. I think generally as law graduates, we are naturally hard workers. I mean, I respect any law graduate. The amount of just intense studying that we need to get through, the amount of, theories that we need to know, and case study and legislation, it's a lot, So I respect any law graduate. Maintain that work ethic, maintain that, form of the strength that you have to pursue. As you did it in your studies, do it in whatever environment that you're going to find yourself in. Yeah, and I think that would be my advice.
No, that's solid. That's solid. Thank you so much, Naledi. I truly appreciate you coming on here and sharing gems like you did tonight. Like really thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are. I mean, you're doing all these things, and you still have like the
Not
time to,
easy.
be on here and speak to us. I truly appreciate it. And yeah, if you like this conversation, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, drop down to the comment section and leave a comment for Naledi, and we will answer you, and subscribe to the channel so that the family can grow. Until my next video, I'm sending you tons of love and light. Bye.